Hi, and welcome to Lesson 2 in my Classic Licks series on the playing of Lightnin Slim. And in the first lesson I went through what I call a typical Lightnin Slim progression with some ideas played over the 1, which is an E, the 4, an A 7th, and the 5, a B 7th. In the second lesson, what I'm going to do is go through some variations on each of those that I have picked up on listening to a lot of Lightnin Slim in the last couple months or so. And starting out in E, we've got this basic lick that we did in the first lesson. That is like a bare bones Lightnin Slim, and he used that quite a bit. One variation is when he goes that slide. Instead of this, he does this. So what I'm doing this double stop, sliding from the 3rd to the 4th fret on the 3rd string, and then picking up on the 2nd string at the 3rd fret, and then going to the 3rd fret of the 1st string with a slight bend and playing that little single string run. Whoops, one more time. So that first part, so it's the slide, open 1st string, 2nd string, which is still fretted at the 3rd fret, we'll bend to that. And then everything else is the same, pretty much as what we were playing in the original. So that's one variation. Another variation, also played over the 1, is to just flat out pick it. So instead of doing this, we do this. Whoops, one more time. So what I'm doing, open, 2nd, 1st string, kind of letting it ring. And then I'm going to the 3rd fret of the 2nd string, open 1st string, whoops, 3rd fret of the 1st string, open, back to the 3rd fret of the 2nd string, open. So that's what you're doing. Now I don't know whether he's taking, taking his hand out of the chord shape and playing it like that, or if he's just keeping the 2 fingers. It doesn't make sense to keep that chord shape. I think he's just probably doing this. And he's doing that over the 1. So at the start of the song, normally in the basic pattern, he goes like this. So instead he's doing this. And that's what I'm hearing for another variation. He does that in different ways with slightly different patterns, but it's the same idea. So what I'm really doing is just doing some single string. Single strings runs out of that 1st position, E. And that's very Lightnin Slim-like. There's a couple tunes. There's one called Sugar Plum, which is like a play on a Sugar Mama, Howlin' Wolf song, but he's doing it with a lot of these licks. You can play that however you want, whatever's comfortable for you. So those are a couple variations out of over the 1 or over the E. Now when you get to the A, some variations here. He really doesn't use a whole lot when he does this. That's the most basic one. And there's just not a whole lot of difference. Sometimes he'll play just the straight chord. Like that, but a lot of times you'll hear this. And you can mix in and play kind of the chord, getting more than one string out of that A7 shape. And go back into the 1. Now when he gets over the 5, the B7th chord, there's a couple different variations you can do with the chord. Sometimes I think I hear him doing this. And what I'm doing is just taking that B7 shape and sliding it to the 4th fret with my first finger on the 3rd fret of the 4th string. Everything else just B7 shape moved here, and then playing it and then walking it back down into the melody. A couple other tunes, it sounds like he's doing this. Where he's just taking it one step up. Like that. Those are a couple different variations. There's one song, I'm trying to remember the name of it, if it's the Sugar Plum song or it's one of his other songs in E, where he does something like this. That's it right there. He goes. So for the turnaround, he starts with the B7th chord. Whoops, let me do that again. Something like that over the 5. And what I'm doing is just going to this double stop where I'm sliding from the 4th fret to the 5th fret on the 2nd string, but also getting the open 1st string. Lightnin Hopkins did this, a lot of guys do this. He does this like that. And I'm hearing on the 3rd string, 4th, 3rd, 2nd fret. And then hammering on and off with the 3rd fret of the 2nd fret of the 3rd string. And then into the 1. So that whole lick. So there's another variation that you can throw in over the 5. Now another thing over the 5 he does into the turnaround is he does these bass note little turnarounds. And here's one idea. He does something like this. It sounds to me like he's doing that. And what I'm doing is I'm going back and forth between the 2nd and 1st fret on the 4th string. And then open 4th string. And then I'm getting the 2nd fret of the 5th string 4th string. So the whole thing. You hear that? I hear that when I listen to the songs. He's kind of letting that ring a little bit. Open 5th string. Then he's going to go to the 3rd fret of the 6th string, and he sort of holds it. And then back to the E, which is the 2nd fret of the 4th string. So that little Lightnin Slim bass turnaround. Let me do that again. I think that's it right there. Hold on. Or it might be just one time here. You can do some variations on that. You hear Jimmy Reed, you hear this. This is just Lightnin Slim's version of that same type of thing. That's what I hear there. So there's another variation which you can use on the turnaround as you go through. Now something else, when you play something like this in E, is an end tag, and Lightnin Slim kind of had an end tag that a favorite end tag that he used. And I'll teach that to you. When something like this. So he gets to the end of the song. What I'm doing is this double stop. So I'm picking I've got my first finger on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string, 2nd finger on the 4th fret of the 3rd string, picking 3, 2, 3, 2nd fret of the 3rd string, hammering onto the 1st fret of the 3rd string, and then winding up on the 2nd fret of the 4th string. B7th, just getting the 5th string, and then just a quick down pick on the other strings in the B7th shape. Then I wind up back on the 1, which is an E. So those are some various variations and ideas that you can mix into that basic Lightnin Slim type progression. Now in the last part of this lesson, we'll take a look at some of the other rhythms that he used, including a kind of boogie thing in the key of A, which is neat, and some variations in tempo in some of his tunes and some licks that he used in doing that.